Thank you for being here. This is a very informal training, and um, I appreciate everyone's grace in participating in this year, because many of you have done this in previous years where it's been in person. We have never done this before online, which is why we're anticipating all kinds of technical challenges, and we're hoping that you'll just be comfortable with that. But what we're going to do is we're going to just go over what you're going to be doing tomorrow in each of your rooms. So if you are a host of a room, that basically means you were strong-armed by me into doing this. You click on the links for the hosts, and that would be you, Katie Chain, Heather Plank, Michelle Brown, you know who you are, Maria Fernandez. If you are a judge, you click on the link for judges, and I'm going to walk through the judges instructions, and then the hosts, if you want to look at yours while we're talking, and then we can stay on extra if anybody has any questions. We are starting tomorrow with a kickoff by the mayor. We are really fortunate that the mayor of San Antonio has kicked us off every year that we've done this civics fair. And then when I go on to thank him, we'll encourage the judges to duck off into their rooms. So you might experience a little bit of lag time as all of us are trying to open 14 Zoom rooms. So if when you try to get on your Zoom room, it doesn't open up immediately, just keep trying. So you'll be given a unique Zoom room link. You'll log on there. And then I'm just going to walk through what's going to happen in your room, and it's going to be a rinse and repeat. So as long as we kind of understand the first session, it should hopefully get easier each time. So your host is going to invite the first team of students. The students, we will have the waiting room and feature enabled, so the students will be ushered in. The students may have some parents who want to watch, in which case the host will ask them to keep their mics and their cameras on, but the host will take care of inviting people into the room. Students are giving, it's going to feel like one speech, but it's considered two, and each one of them is 5 to 6 minutes long. So there's going to be a 10 to 12 minute time frame that the students have to present to you, and they're going to be presenting over Zoom, so they'll be sharing their screen. They'll have some kind of a PowerPoint. Before they do that, we do have some slides, and they're linked. I'm going to put a folder for you where we have the judges' names. So you'll introduce yourself, then the host will kick it over to the students, and the students will do the presentation. And we do anticipate that some students, we do have a digital divide with some of our students. So if for some reason students are getting logged off the Zoom or they can't participate, we have created a makeup session at 1 p.m. So we do want to keep you on a schedule. The students are ducking out of their class periods to come. So if for some reason it's just not working, you tell that group of students, I'm so sorry about the difficulties you're having. Come back to the makeup session at 1. So I just wanted to make that really clear. We're committed to honoring your time, to getting you out by noon, and or 12:10 in some cases. I'll explain that in a minute. And we want the students also to all be able to participate. So if for some reason they have technical issues, we're going to work with them in the afternoon. So we wanted to give you a chance to look at a past example. Now, unfortunately, in the past, and then we were going to walk through this. So David, who's here, is going to walk through the scoring sheet with you, but we thought it would be fun to practice that on an actual example. Okay, can everyone see that? Yes?
Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm a student.
Can you hear it?
And I'm Carolyn Dick. And this is the outdoor classroom project. Have you ever felt like you've been cooped up all day and just need to get a breath of fresh air? That's how the students at the Advanced Swinging Academy feel, working inside the school for 8 hours a day. Research shows that being outside is beneficial to students as well as teachers because it can help with a lot of things like reducing stress, focus, and relaxation. And those are big health harms around school. An effect of not being outdoors is having stress, which can be a good thing or a bad one. It can motivate students to be organized, but transportation agencies. The average American spends 87% of their life in buildings and just 6% of their life in automobiles. That's only 7% of your entire life on buildings. That's only 12 hours a week. Our school has 3 stories, and 6th through 12th grade has no windows whatsoever. Research has shown that students feel more engaged, and school performance increases when learning happens outdoors. Outdoor experiences can help students connect with both natural and human communities, allowing them to build a sense of place and belonging. When students feel connected to their surroundings, they develop stronger environmental awareness and increased civic engagement, meaning they'll take care of their environment and community. When students are in the same environment for 8 hours a day, listening to their teacher talk about assignments, they're more likely to become overwhelmed, stressed, and uninterested. I've noticed even in my own classroom, when we are in our seat for more than 20 minutes, some students will lay down their head or not even remember the last thing they said. Humans need to spend time in natural environments if they want to improve their physical and mental health. Outdoors will improve your physical health because it will make you more active, give you sunlight, which is very good for the body, and it improves blood pressure. Outdoors will improve your mental health because it will boost mental being and decrease cancer risk. If this issue goes unsolved, a lot of things can happen. Students' grades could suffer, which leads to feeling stressed and potentially falling behind on assignments. Another thing that can happen is developing sunlight deficiency, which can lead to seasonal affective disorder, SAD. My teacher, Mr. Foster, has actually had this disorder, and it's opened my eyes to see that we need to get outdoors more often. We interviewed him, and he said when he had SAD, he felt more tired and less interested in what he was doing. Because of that, he didn't get much work done, so it piled up and he got stressed out. If we don't solve this problem, students get. We're personally invested in this because we have seen how big of an impact being outdoors can do for those who are stressed. Stress isn't always bad when it's in small doses. But when you're constantly worrying about when things are due or if you're on time, it starts to be too much. It's really hard to cope with everything when you're freaking out about something. Personally, I find that studying outdoors and taking a break helps me cope with the level of stress that may be affecting me at the time. While researching, we created a class of students at a middle school in North Carolina with a similar idea. Their social studies teacher shared, in an outdoor classroom, they're a little more engaged. It gives them a sense of freedom. It's a change of scenery, a change of perspective. The outdoor classroom consists of tree stumps with clipboards that are desks for students, benches, and standing workstations. This outdoor classroom provides good ideas for the future. Building an outdoor learning space gets students outside, providing an opportunity for engaged creative learning. This is a real issue with the teaching position. We should be taking advantage of the fact that the city of San Antonio averages over 300 days of sunshine a year. We have space in our school, but we need your help to transform an unused and unappreciated space for all the students right here. Okay, again, our goal is to create an outdoor learning space at our school which will provide students an opportunity to learn beyond the walls of the classroom.
By creating this, we will provide a space that will help students focus, give them a chance to be outdoors more often, and also give them the opportunity to relax and enjoy it overall. We have already had teachers say they would love to use it in their everyday life.
This solution is supported by surveys we have conducted to see if people would like to come to this place to learn. Looking at the results, overall, it seems like people would like to use this space. Our survey shows that over 79% of students are interested in learning outdoors, and over 82% felt it would help their learning and grades. In addition to the surveys, we have also interviewed our principal, Ms. Peters, if we could use the space. She granted us permission and offered us to supply tree stumps. And we will ask city arborist, Mr. Mark Berg, for tree recommendations, donations, and some help putting them in place. So, how will we accomplish this goal?
First, we need to talk about what we need to make this happen. First, we are going to need the money from winning Speak Up, Speak Out. But if we don't win, then we will still set up a donation drive because of how passionate we are about this process. We are then going to fix that area by planting rosemary and other plants to give off a nice calming scent. These plants include mint, lavender, and basil. We will also plant trees, add seating, and buy portable whiteboards for the students and for the instructors.
We ALA grandparents who will make us 2 benches in those classes. We will purchase 30 mini whiteboards for $34.95 and 40 mini erasers for $12.99. We will also purchase 3 Kuchak camping hammocks for $59.97 and a 16-foot by 20-foot patio paradise shade sail for $75.99. The total cost of everything will come out to $183.90. We will hold a work day to plant the trees and plants and arrange the benches and tree stumps. We will then hang the hammocks and the shade sail. We decided to use this area because it is rarely used and is between the office and a large brick wall covering the hallway. We're trying to take advantage of the opportunity, and that's why we chose this space. Some obstacles that we will face in our building and classroom are that our supplies might get away in the rain. We have a solution to use waterproof materials or provide a storage place to keep things safe.
Another obstacle is that some students don't like to be outside because it can be too hot or too cold. A solution to this problem would be to educate our student body on the benefits of outdoor learning and think of ways the space could be used for different grade levels.
Again, our problem is that we feel like students at ALA are not exposed to the outdoor and interactive learning. And remember, the joy and excitement of the natural classroom can be reached when you give us that little bump. Thanks for listening. Special thanks to our teachers, our principal, our student body, and the SEI School Board. Here are a few of our sources. Thank you. Any questions?
So you may have, it's in the agenda too, if anybody wants to look at it again. And I dropped a second example, and these are from some of our younger students. So most of the students you'll be seeing, so we have 4 of our 5 CAS schools are participating in this civics fair, as well as 2 schools that are not from CAS. And we're so glad to have like Northeast represented here. So we have ISA, the International School of the Americas, and Kruger KSAT Middle School. So the majority of the students that are competing are in high school, and we do have some students as young as in 4th and 5th grade from the Advanced Learning Academy. And there are 3 categories, elementary, middle, and high school. So don't worry that you have to, you might have a high school in your group and a little bitties, because they're going to be compared to each other. So I just wanted to make that clear. And so everyone knows, the Civics Fair sits inside a 2-day youth rally that the CAS Network is putting on this year. In past years, we did have more schools from San Antonio participating in the citywide Civics Fair. And like so many other things, because of our pandemic, we have fewer people who have been able to participate this year, and we're sorry about that. However, we have more of our CAS students participating, so we're excited that our schools have stepped up in a really big way. I've had some people texting me and emailing me about room assignments. Essentially, what the students are being asked to do is they're being asked to research a problem that they can solve in their local community. And the research sometimes does involve like traditional research, but it also should involve interviewing or talking to people, or maybe doing a survey at their school. And so you may have caught that the students had bar charts and things like that. They talked to their principal and some other sources. And the scoring sheet is going to ask you those types of questions. It is not a scoring sheet that we designed at the CAS Network. It's based off the statewide Speak Up challenge, where they ask students to try to solve problems in their local community. And many of our students every year go to Austin to compete in the statewide event as well. If anybody wants to go back and watch the students, I put this one and another one in the folder. It's where it says helpful links. There are 2 examples of students. And like I said, these are younger students from the Advanced Learning Academy. So I'm gonna, well, before I do that, I'm gonna turn this over to David Holt. So what we thought we'd do today was walk you through the scoring sheet, which again, historically, for those you've done in the past, you've been writing on a piece of paper. We've collected the papers, and then we've run over and we've tallied the sheets. And this year we've put everything online. So David, our data analyst, has created a Google online form, and we wanted to just make sure everybody had a chance to practice using it prior to tomorrow. So I'm going to turn it over to him, and I will drop those other links into the chat.
Hi, everyone. David Holt here, as Dean said. So we pretty much just translated the paper form of the grading rubric into an online Google form. And then we created a dashboard that takes all of that data uh, instantly and puts it into tables that kind of average out by grade level. That kind of makes it easy for us to quickly get the results back in time for the award ceremony. So I'm going to put the survey link um, into the chat as well. Uh, there it is. It says survey, and then it's the address is forms.gle. And it's just a Google a survey. If you don't mind taking it, it would be greatly appreciated. It would help us work out the kinks in the translation into the dashboard. For the school and the grade level, the team number, if you just make those up or just choose whatever you want, that would be great. If they weren't all ALA, that would help as well. Put some of the KSAT ones, CAS Tech, grade level. So just different variations of that would be helpful. And then just going through, and there's 29 questions. 24 of them are 1 through 5s based questions dealing with issue, like how did the students or how did the group address this issue, like choosing the issue, the problem they choose to tackle, the research, how was their research process, the solution they came up with in the presentation, the same categories as previous years. And then there's 5 questions related to each of those that just ask for general feedback, which is optional. All the other questions are labeled as required, but the feedback is optional. And it's a really good opportunity to leave something, some professional feedback for the students that we can share with them to help them next time they present on a topic or this topic if they go to state. And then there's one question about nominations for the different awards as well.
Jean, I just went through it really quick, and the only thing I'd have to say is it's really long. So how long are you going to give the judges to fill it out?
It's a great question, Katie. There's 5 minutes between each session, and it is a very tight timeline. And so one of the things I put in the notes is people should feel comfortable to fill out the survey if they feel like the topic has been addressed. Yes, it is somewhat repetitive, Kate, and maybe we could look at that, David. We don't actually think it's a great rubric, but it's the state rubric, and so since we're trying to prepare our students to compete at the state, so Carl's suggesting fewer pages to make it easier to add comments on each. Yeah, so I think that if you're comfortable, you can certainly fill out the scoring form while the presentation is going on. It's just that you might hit a couple questions, and we tried to order them accordingly, that you will have to wait until the end. So we tried to put the questions that you might have to wait until the end at the end. Those are like, did they cite sources or interviews? Because sometimes the students will do that at the very end.
Eugene, I'm sorry, I apologize if I missed this. How many presentations can we expect to judge?
Yes, we can. That's a good idea. We actually, Carl, I'll drop it into the link, but there's actually a online form that you could be looking at. Yes, and you could actually be filling out. So I'll drop that into the chat in a minute after I answer Leroy's question.
So, Jean, I just wanted to make a suggestion. One of the things because this is similar to the one we used the previous time, correct? I'm trying to go through it as fast as I can.
It's the state rubric, yes. It's just that we've come online.
Okay. I think it was pretty similar, and one of the things that helped me the last time was I did have the kids presenting on one computer or one screen, and then I had my personal laptop with the rubric stuff open as well. And so that's where I was kind of as they were presenting, I was able to like check off some of those things and give them a score for that certain question or particular question on the rubric. And so that kind of helped me with like not having just the 5 minutes to do the entire thing once they were done. So I don't know if that helps anybody, but that's
Yeah.
how I did it last time.
Thank you, Angelica. Did everybody, so that was Angelica from SAWS, who's been one of our great judges every year, I think. So what Angelica's suggesting is having 2 screens going. I'm also, I just dropped a link into the chat. If people want to try to open it, that is the online rubric. So to Carl's point, you could fill that out separately too while you're going and then plug into the Google Sheet. I don't know, you know, that's going to require multiple things going on, but anybody who, or if anybody wanted to print that out. And thank you, Tiffany. I was just going to put that in. So Leroy's question was, how many students will you be judging? And so everyone's judging assignments, and room numbers are listed there, as well as I went through and listed all the names of the teams and the schools to make it easier for you all to input that. The students should begin their presentation by introducing themselves and giving you that information, but just in case, you have a list of all of that.
Jean, this is Maria. A couple of quick questions.
Of course.
On the list that you shared with us with the names of the of all the teams, is that number right after the time? Is that the team number?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. And then what do you recommend for the time warning? Like, I don't want to be intrusive, but I think you said like halfway through and then 1 minute. Is there a recommendation you have on how we want to let the teams know of how much time they have left?
I think that's a good question, Maria. My suggestion, but maybe some of the other folks, I mean, I think you got to use your best judgment, but my suggestion would be just to let them know when at the beginning, I'm going to let you know when you're halfway through, and I'm going to let you know when you have 1 minute, and then you can either just like wave a hand, or you can, you know, do some kind of, but I don't have we haven't done this online before, so it is a little intrusive. I think if you put it in the chat though, they may not see it.
Miss it. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
So for the judges, you're wanting us to use the survey, so the one that you're filling out online versus the Excel sheet, right?
Yes, the
And
Excel sheet, yes,
for each participant.
Right. So it'll just refresh, and you'll just do you know, you can continue to fill it out, and those identify. So it's going to populate to a spreadsheet, and that'll allow us to tally, automated tally, so that Senator Menendez is able to award the top students later in the day.
Jean, Bob Eldy here from the Science Mill as a rookie on this one. So the chat box tomorrow, will that include all of us, or will it just be those of us within the judges and the team that we're working with?
Yeah, we have separate Zoom rooms, so the chat will be restricted to those of you who are in that room. We're not doing one big room and doing breakouts.
Good. Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, we are going to send you an email, Jenny. Thank you for that question. After this training, we're going to send a copy of the training, all the links, and also, you know, one more time, all the judging assignments, and we'll put that information in the calendar invite too. So hopefully you'll have it in as many different places.
So in that drive, we're going to post a spreadsheet with all of your individual Zoom rooms. So hopefully you could see this spreadsheet. So there is a spreadsheet by school, by team members, by topic, and there's another one here. So every Zoom room has a host. So the mayor will open up. We'll move into instructions by Jean and Jean and Tiffany Jenkins from ALA. At that time, I'll instruct all the hosts to go into their individual Zoom rooms, which here are the links, and I'll send it as a separate attachment as well, so you have it. So you leave the current Zoom room, and you move into your individual judging rooms. And these instructions have already been sent out to the students as well. All these Zoom rooms should be, and we'll double check that today, should be enabled to have the waiting room on. And you will allow students in as their time as their competition time comes on. And you just keep on following that process, I think what we'll do as well, Gene, is if you guys have any issues, any concerns, text Gene, myself, or Carol. We'll be here for technical support as best as we can. For those, we have created, so you're not going to use your own Zoom account. We're going to provide you with a Zoom account, a separate one. So you're going to need to log off your personal Zoom account and log on with, for you hosts, for people hosting, you're gonna have to log off and log in with specific login credentials. Or all the other judges should be able to log on with ease. So again, we start off in a general session room, and I posted a flyer in that judges folder that has all those links. And then from the general session, you'll move into your individual rooms.
Is there a way that students will identify themselves so we know which students to admit to each time? Like, is there a list of students' names either that go with their particular presentation, or do the students put their number and presentation name as part of their name so we know which ones we should be admitting at a particular time?
We have students coming from different districts and several different schools. So most of them are just going to have their name as their Zoom name. Also, Zoom is a little glitchy about whenever you rename yourself. I've renamed myself and then logged in on another computer, and it's undone the information that I've previously done to rename myself. So I can't guarantee that the students are going to be named their team name. It's most likely that they're going to be named their actual name.
Okay, that's helpful. So just look for their first name from the spreadsheet. And then
which is also on that spreadsheet in column E.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sarah, just so you know, though, there's only the students who are coming should have the Zoom information for that room. We're not publishing this to students, although we have said that some students could come watch their peers and or their parents. So it may be that you're admitting more people but you should only be admitting like during the transition time. There should be a group of people in your waiting room. You should be able to bring them in, and then you should ask anybody who's not the presenters to turn off their cameras and turn their thing on mute. Does that make sense? So you may have a little bit of an audience. Like typically when we do this in person, there's actually a fairly large audience, and the students are all watching each other. So some students have wanted to come and see some of the other teams competing, and we have said that that's okay as long as they come in during the transition and they keep their cameras and mics off. So really you shouldn't have to worry about anything other than, okay, I've got a group of people in the waiting room, they're here at the right time, I'm going to let them in. And then you should be able to not let anybody in until the next break.
Yeah, I would say sixth grade presentations, you expect quite a few family and community members to be in watching because they're very excited. So those are the ones in the morning.
That's helpful. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we are going to try to wrap all this into one final email with all the final instructions to send out to everyone with all the links. And then you should have, all the links should also be in the judging folder. And then we also are going to try to make ourselves as available to you as possible tomorrow in case there are any inevitable last minute questions. But if anybody has any questions before we, I did want to say something about the ALA presentation earlier because we have two of the involved folks on the training today. So out of that classroom idea, we actually did apply for a grant for an outdoor classroom at the Advanced Learning Academy in Castech, and Heather Plank, who's on here and is also one of our Youth Rally sponsors, did the design work for that, and we applied for the grant to the San Antonio River Authority, and Janine Garcia is on here, and we actually won that grant. So the reason why this work, yes, so exciting. The reason why this work is so important is because I know Angelica, it's pretty exciting, and Angelica is a big supporter of our outdoor classroom work with SAWS. So is that we actually try to connect these young people with adults in the community who can help make these ideas come to life. So that's an amazing example of when that actually came true. So thanks to all of you for that. So before we go, I did want to say a big thanks to the people who are our sponsors here. This is the first time we've ever done a youth rally, and it was kind of put as a challenge to us by Kate Rogers, our board chair. And we're super excited to be doing it. And we had some sponsors who are willing to sort of take a leap of faith with us. And so that's the Doozeum, and I'm gonna let Eddie say a little bit about what's happening there as we close. Holt Cat, CPS Energy, the Annie E. Casey Foundation, HEB, Jungle Disc, T. Donovan Creative, who is Heather Blank. We're so grateful to all of you who, again, took a leap of faith with us as we did this for the first time. And then, of course, this event is the sweet sauce of this Speak Up, Speak Out is the connection between the students and the celebrity judges. So I just can't thank all of you enough for being willing to do this with us. Many of you for the third or fourth time. So thanks so much.